resuming consideration at second reading of Bill C-57, Canada-Ukraine Free Trade Agreement Implementation Act 2023.
When we left that yesterday, we had 4 minutes left on questions and comments from the Honourable Member for Battle River Crowfoot. So questions and comments, the Honourable Member for Abbotsford.
Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to thank my colleague for his speech on the Canada-Ukraine Free Trade Agreement. As you know, free trade is very close and dear to my heart. I wanted to ask him about his own Ukrainian community, the diaspora that has gathered within his community, and why they would feel that this agreement is really important to Canada. So I would welcome his thoughts on that.
The Honourable Member for Battle River Crowfoot.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, and I appreciate the question posed by my colleague from Abbotsford. And just to note the work that he did in making sure that under the previous Conservative government, seeing, I believe it was 43 trade agreements with different countries from 47. My apologies, 47. In fact, that member probably has forgotten more about trade than most Liberals will ever know. But Mr. Speaker, he asks an important question when it comes to the Ukrainian diaspora within my community, and as is the case of many rural prairie MPs, there are significant Ukrainian roots that exist. In fact, the Ukrainian Cultural Village, a great place to visit for families, is located just north of my constituency, and it speaks to that richness, especially when it comes to those roots in agriculture that exist, and to make sure that we are taking seriously the fact that we established, I believe it was in 2013, the first Ukrainian Free Trade Agreement, and that now we have the opportunity to build on that. But Mr. Speaker, to emphasize that we have to get it right. It's before this House. We need to make sure that it goes through the process to ensure that every section, every subsection of this bill is done right for the Ukrainian diaspora in our country, for all Canadians, and for a country that is facing just incredible circumstances, has shown themselves to stand strong against this unjustified and illegal Russian invasion. For both sides, Mr. Speaker, we need to make sure that we get it right, and that's why I hope all members of this place take seriously the responsibility that is incumbent upon all of us to ensure that that in fact happens.
Questions and comments? Question commentaire, the owner for Flamborough Glenbrook.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to ask my colleague, liquefied natural gas is a great opportunity for Canada. There's been 18 projects on the desk of the Prime Minister waiting approval, and if we look at the situation currently in Ukraine, reducing reliance on Russian natural gas obviously is something where we could help. Canada has this great opportunity. Maybe you can expand a bit on that in the context of the Free Trade Agreement.
The Honourable Member for Battle River Crowfoot.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, and appreciate this being asked from an Ontario MP. And just to emphasize to all the Albertans watching how the question around energy security is not something that is unique to the West, not something that is unique to Alberta, but something that truly is a national issue. And Mr. Speaker, to directly answer my colleague from Ontario's question, it is an international issue as well. Canada has the opportunity to ensure that we displace Russian crude and gas, that dictator and despot crude oil and natural gas, and specifically when it comes to LNG, we have the ability to not only make sure that dollars are not going to dictators like the tyrant Vladimir Putin that is engaged in this illegal invasion in the sovereign country of Ukraine. We can make sure that the very people that he is forcing to fight against that aggression are forced to purchase natural gas that funds that very war machine. Mr. Speaker, Canada is the solution to ensure that we have energy security for our allies and friends around the world. And Mr. Speaker, when that happens, our world becomes a safer place. Now, the regrettable reality is, after 8 years of that Liberal Prime Minister, we have seen the world less safe because they refuse to allow Canadian energy and the expertise that comes along with it to make our world a safer place. So, Mr. Speaker, let's get that done.